Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 14 of What If Naruto was the ultimate Saiyan. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, remember to go ahead and check out the brand new episode over on Anime King 2 of What If Naruto at his strongest was sent to another timeline, and I enjoyed that guys. And also stay tuned for the what is coming your way, and I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. And if you're new, yes, I did have 3 channel guys, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, and yeah, without further ado, what do you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last spot we left off, Naruto flew into a fit of rage when he saw the unmoving dead body of Sarutobi. He lost it. The heavens quake, the earth tremble, as Naruto released so much power that the place started to shake. It was not just here though, as it was going on in the Fire Nation as well. Lightnings came raining down and striking parts of the village. Naruto released a primal roar, his head throwing back as his hair turned golden, his eyes turned green as he settled upon the barrier. Orochimaru realized that he was screwed, as he was in a bad shape. His arms were sealed away by Hiruzen, and this blonde brat seemed like he was somehow able to get some new sort of power. As Naruto told the Anvus no, that they're mine, as he moved forward, the Sound 4 tried to slow him down, but Naruto delivered a swift death to each of them, starting by a punch to Jirobo's stomach that caused the man's organs to rupture. He incinerated Teiwai with a blast, as he ripped off Kidomaru's arms and he split Seikon and Uhan. Orochimaru tried to flee in that time as Naruto kicked off, flying through the sky at tremendous speed. He crashed in front of a snake Sanin, who hasn't felt fear like this in a long while. But in his state, Orochimaru had no choice but to feel utter, primal fear rushing down his core as he tried to back away, but Naruto just kept on marching towards him, unfazed by anything that he threw at him. As Naruto grabbed the man and delivered the beating of his life to him, as Orochimaru had no choice but to just stand there and take it all, as Naruto tore him apart. Orochimaru ended up trying to slip away as he used snakes from his mouth. He tried to go off into his different form, to run, as he had no way of beating Naruto like this, as Naruto started to charge Kami, as his ball of angels started to spin unnaturally. Before he released it, the Anvus and Jiraiya arrived at that time as they saw the angel, as it obliterated the snake Sanin, ridding him from this world entirely as he was gone. As Naruto turned to see Mito, as she had tears in her eyes, as she had stopped Sahara, the one-tailed Jinchuriki, but Hiruzen was dead. As Naruto moved toward his sister, as she ended up falling asleep in his arms. Mental and physical stress as well, and not to mention she just fought a literal tail beast with the help of Gamabunta. Some time passed as Naruto stood on top of the monument, as Jiraiya came behind him, as he informed him that they were going to go and find Tsunade. As Naruto understood that the village needs another Hokage, in these times especially. But that didn't mean that he couldn't feel sad same way. As it turned out that the Raikage allowed Samui to stay here, as he told her that she could help fix the leaf until the new Hokage is brought in. But that was just a cover, as the Raikage was liking the relationship growing between Konoha and Kumo because of what was happening between Naruto and Samui even more. so she stayed behind as she bade her farewell to the others, as Naruto and Mito and Jiraiya and Samui made their way. As they end up stopping by a hotel, it was then that the Akatsuki sent out Kisame and Itachi to find what was going on with the brother of Nine Tails Jinchuriki. We also found out that Sasuke had a little crush on Hinata, as she had asked for his help in training, so Sasuke wasn't there when Itachi showed up, and he wasn't there to find out about his brother, as his mind was occupied on other things though, like training with Hinata, and not trying to stare at her the entire time. As he never felt this way before, it was weird to him. As Naruto and the group end up settling down in the hotel as Jiraiya went out, as Samui asked Naruto about his blonde hair, as Naruto did not know, but he felt like he could change once again until there was a knock. As Naruto heard the knock outside, but it was not his door, as he felt the odd sensation to open his door to see none other than Itachi. As Naruto was surprised, considering that he had knew Mikoto before her demise. As they end up getting into a battle until Jiraiya arrived, the two decide to flee. Not that Naruto couldn't stop them from doing what they were doing though, as Kisame was really starting to enjoy the battle as Naruto was stronger than he thought. But they were going to report this back to their leader at the Akatsuki. As Jiraiya had news, he had found Tsunade. So yeah guys, so basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So what is to begin this new episode? We begin this new episode with Kabuto. Kabuto Yakushi, for his entire life, he has always been a number 2. Never a number 1. He's always been the right-hand man. Someone that the boss turned to. He's always been a spy. Someone to be used throughout his entire life. And that was no different with Orochimaru, but now, Orochimaru was dead. On the table lay Kimimaro Kaguya, who had a rather deadly illness. Orochimaru had refused to fully treat Kimimaro because he never intended on taking his body in the first place. Like most of his subordinates, he wanted him to fight and die for him out there in the field. But if anything were to happen, he would help Kimimaro and take his body, just enough to feel safe, but that would not happen seeing that he was now dead. On the other hand though, Kabuto had found a way to heal Kimimaro. That is what he was doing at the moment. He had called and sent out word to the other members of the Sound and all of the top other members such as Gurren, as he was now the one in charge and he would be given the orders. He had several plans, but firstly he needs to get stronger because at this level, he doubted that he could even touch a hair on Naruto. That boy has shown several times that he was a force to be reckoned with, incinerating Orochimaru like that, but Kabuto would not let that slide. For 2 reasons. First, for the death of Orochimaru, and second, he was sure that Naruto was gonna be a problem for his plans. After all, having someone that strong as Orochimaru told him when he had met the boy in the forest of death was always a problem in the society, so he had to remove him. But with the Akatsuki after Mito, he doubted it would be that long. After all, Naruto would not let any of them touch his sister, and the Akatsuki was truly a deadly bunch. So for now he could just sit back and watch. But if the Akatsuki end up failing, well, that would be surprising after what he's heard from Orochimaru about the leader, and what he's found out himself being Sasuke's spy, which was a trick after all, as he was just using Sasuke on the orders of Orochimaru. But for the case now, he was in charge, and things will be changing now to fit his schedule. As he looked down towards Kimimaro, "Don't worry, soon you will be back on your feet once again, where you will stand by my side as my number 2, said Kabuto with a smirk. Meanwhile, as Pain, the man of the hour, stood on his balcony, the head of the lion, as he was looking over the village hidden in the rain, as he had just received a report back from Itachi and Kisame. From what he had gotten from Zetsu, he knew that the brother of Takeuchi Jinchuriki was going to be a problem. From what Itachi and Kisame said, and not to mention Itachi, genjutsus were not working on him, or the low level ones. Itachi was just trying to subdue him after all so he can get to the Takeuchi Jinchuriki without a hassle in his way. But the boy had proven to be a lot stronger than they thought. But that does not matter. He will be subdued one way or another. After all, a mere human cannot stand against a god. And when the time comes for a real battle in Kisame and Itachi, if they should fail, then he will go himself. and take the Kyubey, and also turn Konoha into a smoking crater as well. And with that, he just stared off into the distance, thinking about other plans. Meanwhile, as the masked man was sitting down calmly, until the ground opened up as Zetsu emerged. He's a lot stronger than we thought. We saw the battle. While Kisame and Itachi were not going all out, it seems like he was not even going half his full power, said Black Zetsu. And not to mention, said White Zetsu's hair did not turn all golden and all, so he was definitely holding back. Did you find out what kind of strange power he's using? No. But from what we can gather, although it's not chakra, it's rather close. But we've yet to determine exactly what he's using. So does that mean that Genjutsu would be useless on him? We're not sure there. If he doesn't have chakra to take control of, well, that would be the case, but we're not entirely sure Itachi did not cast any high-level Genjutsu. He was just trying to subdue him after all. So there will have to be some more testings. The masked man frowned to himself. He had a feeling that this boy was going to be more problem than he's worth. And him standing up the way of them collecting the 9 tails in Jinchuriki, he was going to be a problem that needs to be dealt with. Meanwhile, Tsunade was on her 8th bottle of sake, as Shizune sat beside her, always a diligent servant, as she had her little pet pig Tonton, the pig Oink, as Shizune looked up as she saw someone that she hadn't seen in a long time. Jiraiya-sama, she said. Her words caused Tsunade to look up, her hazy eyes focused on the individuals. The boat was large enough for them to slip in. Ah, Hein. Shizune, it's been a long time, said Jiraiya, as he gave them a cordial smile. Jiraiya, what the hell do you want now? I thought it would be a few more years before I saw your face once again. Have you come to beg me to come back once again? Because you already know my answer. There's things that you need to know, Hein. The old man, he's dead. As the group waited for her reaction. But she simply scoffed. I told him that being Hokage was a fool's job, and it would only take his life. There were several different reactions from her statement. The first one being Mito, who was confused of all that she's heard about Tsunade of the Sannin, as Gigi had spoke about her. He said that she has been through a lot, so she has closed herself off to most things. Mito expected the woman to be in a runt, and it would take a while to get her out, but this was just pathetic. She was a Kunoichi, for Christ's sake, one of the most powerful in the elemental nation, and she was acting like a drunk waste of space. As Mito looked around at all the liquor bottles, the woman could barely keep her eyes open, as she just looked out of it, like she had completely given up. Samoya, on the other hand, was surprised, not knowing much about the legend. After all, she's never heard more than she was a powerful Kunoichi. Other than that, nothing else. But this was not what she was expecting at all. But for Naruto, it was rage, as he heard those words slip from her mouth. Watch your mouth, he said. Tsunade heard him. What was that, brat? She said. I said, watch your mouth. Watch what you say about the old man. As he stopped talking, Tsunade blinked in surprise. And who the hell are you telling me to watch my mouth? Last time I checked, I can say what the hell I want. Jiraiya sighed, as this was bad. Knowing Naruto, and not to mention given Hiruzen's recent passing, as he snapped his gaze towards Mito as well, who seemed to be getting angry at how nonchalant the woman was talking, especially about the old man's death, which the two of them care about a lot. Tsunade, said Jiraiya, trying to get her to calm down. He died protecting the village and saving countless lives, so don't you dare disrespect him in any way, said Naruto. Tsunade scoffed. Risking your life for a damn village that only brings you pain and suffering. That is the meaning of Hokage, that is why I told him that it was a stupid, wasteful decision. And I guess I was right, because who's in the grave? Not me, but him. Mito slammed both her hands on the table. How can you talk so carelessly about him? He was your sensei. He cared about you like you were his family. Even though he had nothing to do with you leaving, he blamed himself, as he wished he could take all of your pain to make you remain in the village. And yet, you speak so carelessly about his life that is now gone. How dare you, said Mito. You little Janines are just wet behind the ears, said Snetty. You know nothing of this real world, so I suggest you sit down and be quiet. When you can understand how messed up this stupid world is, and what a stupid job it means, what it entails to be Hokage, then you can speak to me. So right now I stand with my words. It was a stupid decision back then, and it's a stupid one right now. And him wasting his life, bang! She was cut off as Naruto's fist obliterated the table. As Jiraiya saw that Naruto was physically holding himself back from hitting the woman, as his fist was tightened, Snetty glared at him. What? Was that supposed to intimidate me, she said. If you want to take this outside, brat, let's. Snetty, I don't think that you be quiet, Jiraiya, she said. Little punks like this these days need to learn their place. You want to fight me, said Naruto, his tone sounding unnaturally calm, as there was this look in his eyes that frightened Jiraiya a bit, the way he looked at her. Of course, if you keep on running your mouth and going around smashing tables like you're a big guy, I'll put you in your place, she said to him. I've been itching to vent out my frustration about everything, said Naruto. So let's, come fight me. As Naruto walked out the bar, Mito grabbed Snetty by the hand. As Snetty looked down, what is it? As much as I'm angry at you right now for what you said, we still need you. Well, not this version of you anyway. So, I'll say this only once. Do not fight him. What? He's not been taking everything well. I've tried my best to be there for him, but he's not been taking it all well. Neither of us have. There's a lot of pent-up anger behind him. And if you were to fight him now, you will get hurt. Snetty scoffed at that as she pulled her hand away from Mito. You think a little brat like that can hurt me, she said, as Jiraiya stopped in front of her. She's right, Haim. You're not in the state of mind to fight right now. I suggest you just sit back down and let's talk. Get out of my way, she said as she shook past him. Meanwhile, outside, as Samui stood beside Naruto. Are you okay, she asked. I'm fine. You don't look fine, she said. I said I'm fine, he said to her. As she saw the way his fists tightened, the way his feet curved into the ground, he was gonna hurt this woman. As she knew that there was a lot of rage behind losing Sarutobi, as he told her himself after killing Orochimaru, he didn't feel any satisfaction, because Hiruzen was still dead and he wouldn't be coming back, and he was still angry about that. He was still furious. She placed a hand on both of his shoulders, as she forced him to look at her. Remember, she's the one that we came for to bring her back to be Hokage. She might not see me right now, but people can change, you know that firsthand. So don't do anything stupid. Don't push it too far. As much as they sound crazy given that she's a Sannin, I know what you're capable of, she said to him. As Naruto said nothing as Snetty came out. Alright, brat, last chance to back out of this before you get hurt. Bring it, you old woman, said Naruto. Snetty got a tick mark inside of her head. Alright then, as I said, it's good to always put you brat in your place, otherwise you'll go around thinking that you're invincible. As Snetty walked towards him. And I'm gonna show you that by only using this finger, she said, to put you down. She marched towards Naruto, as Naruto watched her, as she started to move a bit faster, before she flashed in front of him, as she pulled her finger back and finger flicked him right in the forehead. Naruto's head was thrown back a bit, but his feet did not move. As Snetty was surprised, as Naruto pulled his head back and slammed it into hers. Snetty staggered back, feeling everything around her just shift, as she stepped back on both feet. The liquor seeming to shaking up inside of her. After all, she was already burnt away, but this knocked her gear into senses. as her eyes managed to focus once again. As she saw him standing there, next moment, she didn't know if she blinked or not, but he was right in front of her. Was this what you intend to do? As Naruto's finger flickered on the forehead, she was launched back, and she was sent sailing as she crashed on the ground. Shizune was taken aback. She looked at the others with a dumbfounded look on her face. How... Tsunade picked herself up as she shook it off. She growled angrily, surprised the brat had pushed her so far, as she clenched her fist until chakra started to swallow her body and moving down towards her fists. She moved forward now, angrier than before as she swung her fists. It moved through the air, splitting towards him. As Naruto dodged, she looked down towards him as she saw him twisting his body going down. He was fast. She brought her right leg up just in time as Naruto moved as she stomped into the ground, cracking it as he jumped away. With an impressive show of speed, she appeared behind him as she clasped both of her hands and brought it down on his skull to aim this in one quick motion before Naruto raised his hand as her hand slammed into his. The ground underneath him was obliterated to show that she was not joking around anymore, but his knees did not bend, something that startled her. Shizune over the side watched as she couldn't believe what she was seeing, as the place started to tremble as a white cloak started to appear around Naruto, the white key cloak. As Tsunade tried to pull back, but Naruto's fingers gripped tightly onto her hands. Rushing into something when you know nothing about your opponent is quite stupid. I'm not sure where you have been for the past few days or what, but that little friend of yours, the Snake Sanin, said Naruto. After his attack on the village, I was the one that hunted him down and erased him from this earth. Tsunade was surprised at that. She didn't know that Orochimaru was dead, and this brat was the one that did it. Fighting me was a big mistake, said Naruto, as he released her hand as she almost dropped. The next thing she knew, she felt a pain sensation under her chin as she was launched out of the village, as Naruto punched her straight forward. As the ground broke as Naruto leaped forward. Damn it. I need to stop him, said Mito, realizing that he might take this a bit too far. As she rushed off, the girl moving off behind her. Tsunade crashed outside in a bitter wasteland near to a castle. As she got up pissed off, she rubbed her chin as she spat blood to the side, as Naruto crashed right in front of her. Must say you're stronger than I thought, brat, she said, but I'll still put you in your place. As Naruto looked at her, before he just powered down, as he turned his back and started to walk away on her. Huh? Afraid, she asked. Of course not, said Naruto. If I were to really fight you, I doubt that you would live, said Naruto. Huh. I'm a Sanin, brat. Do you really think I'm that weak? No. You would actually start to fight me as well, said Naruto. But I will overpower you. Not to mention this. It's far from my full power. I have something else. But that is not the reason why I am walking away. You're done. What do you mean I'm done? You're pathetic. What? Look at yourself. This fighting will not solve anything. The only reason you're fighting me right now is because you're angry. And that's not anything regarding our situation. The reason why we're here is to convince you to be Hokage. And while I'm angry, and while I want to hurt you for what you said about the old man, it's not gonna change anything. He's still gone. And know that you won't become the Hokage. We have to find someone else. So it's pointless that we continue to fight. You would just be wasting my time. Why don't you become it, she asks. You're strong, why don't you become the Hokage? Don't have the experience, said Naruto. Well, I don't want it. Figure, said Naruto. You're a disappointment. After all, your grandfather and grand-uncle was Hokage, but what are you? A drunken old hag. Tsunade's fist clenched as the ground started to crack under her feet. I would tread carefully, brat, she said to him. No, I won't, said Naruto. There's nothing that you can do to me, because I will not allow you to. So I can say whatever the hell I want. Look at you. I had spoken to Jiraiya before we got here. You lost your brother, and you also lost your lover. I must confess, if I was in your case I would be angry as well. I didn't know how long it would take me to recover. But, probably eventually I will. But you on the other hand, you don't want to recover. Jiraiya told me about your brother and your lover. The both of them had one goal in their mind, and that was to become Hokage. Instead of moving forward and taking that goal for yourself, to do something that they could not because their time had ended so soon, you waste your life. They would be disappointed to see you now. Shut up, she said. You don't know them, and you don't know what you're talking about. I see I hit a nerve, said Naruto. So you know that I'm right. You don't know nothing. You don't know the pain of losing. I don't know the pain of losing. I lost my parents when I was just a kid, said Naruto. And I couldn't do anything. I felt so helpless and weak. And then I lost the old man, who was like a father to me. And I wonder, what's the point? I think about this many times before. I really wonder, what's the point of going on? What's the point of having so much power if everything can just be taken away? Just like that. And I'm not powerful enough to stop it. That question plagued me for days upon days. Even now it still does. But there's a voice in the back of my head that tells me to just keep on pushing. To go on no matter what. And just keep on getting stronger so I wouldn't have to lose anyone else that I love. But you on the other hand, you've given up. What would your brother and lover think of you now, said Naruto, as he started to walk away. Tears came to Tsunade's eyes, as she hadn't cried in a long while. His words cut deep, deeper than any wound would. As she thought about Dan and Nawaki, she has been trying to keep them off her mind because thinking about them always put her in a state that she didn't want to be in, but now she couldn't help it. As she dropped to her knees, thinking about how much she had wasted her life just drinking out here. Thinking about their death, thinking about everything that happened. As she thought about the old man. As everything came piling on, as the tears came flowing down. He was right, she felt so useless. She was the best medical ninja in the world, yet she wasn't able to save anyone that she cared about that died. So what was the point of being the best medical ninja? It was just a waste of time. As more tears started to pool out of her eyes. As Naruto paused, he looked towards the woman. The others had arrived, but they did not intervene. Tsunade glanced up and saw him still there. You're right. What's the point? I'm the best medical ninja in the world. Yet I couldn't save anyone I care about. So you're right, she said. Happy now? As Naruto looked towards her, no. The point is that you move forward. The point is that you do something that the dead weren't able to do because their life was taken away from them. The point is, with your skills you could save so much more life. Without it, many people will fall. But with your skills, with your lessons, with your teaching, so much life could be saved on the battlefield. But keeping this all to yourself, allowing and watching those people die, it is not doing any good. And you think becoming Hokage would change that, she asks. As she looked up at him, as Naruto stepped forward as he stooped down right in front of her. No, I don't. Then what's the point, she said to him. Even though I don't think Hokage will be changing that, I think as the time passes you will start to feel the changes. As you stand as a proud leader of your village and help your people move past this tragic event, be a beacon of hope, something to inspire the people that no matter what, the village is still standing and they will get through it, with you leading them. Tears came to Mito's eyes as he heard his speech. He always had his ways when he truly focused. As he was right, because she was feeling the same way. She had tried to act like the old man's death was a grave loss, but it didn't affect her so much, but it did. It affected her a lot than she even thought. But she didn't want to be too much of a hassle for him because he'd always been there for her. And she knew that he was hurting as well. So she tried to seal her own feelings away, but now they were coming out as she cried. As Samui saw her crying, she placed a hand on her shoulder. As Mito turned towards her and cried on the girl's shoulder, as Samui hugged her. As Jiraiya watched, as Naruto looked towards Nettie, as she wiped away her tears, feeling a bit embarrassed that she broke down like that. As Naruto held his hand, she took it as she got to her feet, before she sent a load of chakra down towards her face. Bam! As Naruto was sent sailing by the punch, as she knocked him away rather viciously. As he crashed. That's for punching me all the way out here, she said. Is he gonna be okay? Said Shizune. Oh, he's gonna be just fine, said Jiraiya. He's a lot tougher than he looks. So Haim, what do you say? He asks. Tsunade grunted. Time skip. You want to what? Said Naruto. 3 weeks has passed since Tsunade took up the title as Hokage, as Naruto words had indeed changed her. As Naruto was now in the office with Jiraiya and Tsunade sitting behind her desk, I said I want to take Mito on a training trip for about 2.5 years. Why can't you just train her in the village? Said Naruto. Because I'll be on the move each time, and I can't be running back to the village each time, so it's better if she's with me. There's a lot I can teach her about the ninja arts that she can't teach herself, that Kakashi cannot teach her. And remember, the Akatsuki is still coming after her. You can't always be there, Naruto, so she needs to be able to defend herself. As Naruto went quiet, as he knew that the man was right. Can I trust you with her safety? Come on, kid. Have you forgotten who I am? Naruto gave the man a blank look, as he was not joking around. Look, I'll protect her, with my life, if I have to. She'll be just fine, and this will really help her grow, he said. Well, it will be beneficial for her and her ninja career, said Naruto. Well, you're on board, said Tsunade. But we don't know what she said yet. I know that she'd want to leave. I mean, everyone is here, her friends, her family. Well then, said Jiraiya, I'll go talk to her, as he hopped through the window. As Naruto got up, what about me, he said. You will be staying here, said Tsunade. After all, you're different from everyone else. Those kind of training wouldn't help you. And not to mention the Jonin exam is coming up. Right now it's just a formality. You have already gotten all of the requirement of missions down. You have the power. So one thing left is for you to pass the exam. Well, it's just a formality, as I said. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So the only thing left right now is to see if Mito agrees with this. Time skip. As Naruto lay on the floor of Mito's room, as she was on the bed. Do you think I should go? She asks. It will help you get stronger, said Naruto. And I want you to be as strong as possible, so you can be better protected out there. I know, but 2.5 years? I mean, that's a really long time, she said to him. It is, said Naruto. But you'll be a lot stronger in return. She sighed. I guess you're right there. The option is yours, said Naruto. If you don't want to go, you don't have to. You can stay here. I know, but there's a lot I can learn from the old pervert, she said. A real lot. There are certain jutsus that he can teach me. And not to mention, he knows the art of sealing. Something I'm getting quite adapted to, she said. And also, he taught me a lot for the month before Chunin exams. So he's a good teacher. As she glanced over the bed and looked towards Naruto. But you're gonna miss me so much, she said to him. As Naruto chuckled. Of course I will, he said. But you have company, I mean, Samui is still here. What's going on there, she asked. I thought she was supposed to leave once the new Hokage was selected. Well, Tsunade hasn't fully speaking to the Raikage yet, but she has sent him a message. So, Samui is still here for the time being, said Naruto. Mito took a breath. Alright then, she said. I'm gonna go. I need to get stronger. After all, you can't always be there saving my ass. I need to be able to protect myself against this group. I also promised Sasuke that I will help him find and defeat Itachi. So I have to get stronger as well, for that. Alright then, it's settled, said Naruto. As she nodded, It is. Time skip. As Mito and Jiraiya made their way, as they had just left the village, she had a determined look on her face, as she would come back stronger no matter what. She would not fail. So where to first, she asks. Time skip. Shidori, said Sasuke, as he slammed his lightning-covered hand through a solid stone wall. As he panted a bit, Mito was out there training with the Sannin. He was left in the village, as he was determined to get stronger no matter what. As Kakashi stood there, with his book in hand, as Sasuke was coming along nicely. He was not the only one though, as Hayashi watched as his daughter assaulted the training post. The more time passed, the more stronger she gets. He actually loved his kids, but the way the Hyugas were set, he had to play the ignorant card, acting like he did not show much affection for them. But he was proud of her growth as he watched her from afar. As Hinata was sweating as she hit the post, as she was determined to get stronger for her friend Mito, as they had made a promise that all three of them would get stronger, Sasuke included, and they would not fail. Meanwhile, as for Naruto, as he was a distance away in the rocky wastelands of Konoha, as Naruto was levitating off the ground, as he clenched his fists and bit down hard as he started to release a primal scream as he opened his mouth, as he could feel a surge of energy before he released it outwards. His white glow became a golden one as his hair turned golden, as his eyes turned green, as Naruto looked at his hands, as he could feel the power of this mode surging through him. It was so amazing, as he flew straight up into the heavens, before he created a massive ball of energy and dropped it down to the ground. Not powerful enough to really cause any massive scale damage, but powerful enough to decimate the entire ground below him, blowing away all the charred rocks and the small stream over to the side, creating a flat, scorched earth as Naruto landed. As he was still cloaked in this golden energy, his hair was golden. As he took a breath as it receded, Samui was right. He needed to find out who his birth parents were. He needed to learn more about himself. Time skip. As Shin, the priestess of Demon Country, was falling into the depths of darkness. As she was falling and she felt the darkness consume her. This was the only way to get rid of the demon, by sacrificing herself. Shin, she heard someone cried out. As she saw the golden lights, the darkness was pushed back violently as she felt two pair of arms wrapped around her waist. Before she was brought up, as she looked into those green, beautiful eyes. I told you, I wouldn't let you die. Naruto, she said, as she smiled at him. As Naruto felt something as he glanced towards her bell. As he held on to it, a purple energy started to push from the bell, mixing with his golden. So what do you say we end this? As they looked towards the approaching demon, the thing that was sealed away for centuries now, as she was the only one that could stop it. But with the help of Naruto, as Naruto created Kame, as the energy started to seep into his Kame as he held on to the priestess. Well, mostly she held on to his neck as he started to build the energy, as it seeped into him, before he released it as the entire place went white. As the demon was completely incinerated, as Naruto flew straight out of the cavern as he collapsed it, as he held on to Priestess Shin, as his golden cloak also came around her, protecting her from the lava as he flew right through it, with her holding on to him, as his Super Saiyan form allowed him to burst right through it and keep her protected. As they found themselves in mid-air, she looked up at the night sky. You did it. We're alive, she said. I told you, I wouldn't let nothing happen to you. She smiled at that. Time skip. As Naruto returned back to the village, another successful mission down. As Natty looked at the scroll, you keep on doing this, Brett, and we will be united with the entire Elemental Nation soon enough. As Naruto had brought them a lot of peace, silence, and agreements from other villages, the most biggest one being Kiri, when he had helped out in the Civil War. It has been 2.5 years since Mito had made her way to go off to train with Jiraiya, as Naruto get letters every now and then that she was fine and she was getting stronger. Soon enough she would return home though, as Naruto has been training like crazy for the past 2.5 years. A lot has changed. Well, he has grown a bit, but his hair always remained the same. He never needed a haircut. His clothing was a bit different though, as he was wearing a black long sleeve shirt with a white cloak over it just like his father, but there was markings on the back that said Super Saiyan. The reason being, as Naruto had learned that he wasn't actually from this place, as Inoichi had been the one to inform him about when they found him when he was younger in the pod, as he was brought to said pod that was in Konoha the entire time, but no one really knew how to activate it or anything. But when Naruto came along and pressed his hand on it, it had opened up, as he saw a word inside, Saiyan. He didn't know what the word meant, but it felt so familiar to him, for some strange reasons. And not to mention, he decided to call his new form Super Saiyan, as he decided to trademark it, and it was now on the back of his cloak. People from all around the nation had saw it, and started referring to him as such, even though they didn't know what it meant. But because of his overwhelming, immense power, it struck fear into the hearts of his enemies, the Super Saiyan of Konoha. As Naruto has done a lot in the past 2.5 years, he was no longer a Jonin, he was an unranked ninja. The reason being his strength was far above Jonin, but he wasn't a Kage so, and he wasn't a Sannin, although Tsunade had gave him rights like Sannins, as Naruto was able to travel just like Jiraiya. But he didn't travel much places only. He went to Kumo and here and there, but not much places. Because of all of his achievements that he has done in such a short amount of time, his name has really went rampant all around the Elemental Nation, stopping conflicts. He was like a hero. The things that he had done, moving around saving small villages, as he brought a lot of aid to Konoha people coming to trade with the village because of their like for Naruto, and his overall attitude, everything about him, just made people happy. As Naruto has taken everything with strive and continued to move on, as he kept on getting stronger, now with Konoha allies with Kiri, Kumo and the San, the Stone was the only odd man out, as they had not approached any of them with any agreement. They were still bitter about the war, and they refused to come to good terms with Konoha even though it was a very long time ago. But the village did not mind that. They were prospering and everyone was growing. And Naruto, not to mention with his rank, it scared many enemies from ever trying anything against the village. After all, not every people get the unmarked rank, because they could not specify how strong he was. No one actually knew. But in terms of normal ranking, he was still Jonin, seeing that he still had all the privilege. He also had the chance to take a team under his wing. But for the past 2.5 years he has been working as a solo though, as he did things much better alone by the way, seeing that he could cause so much mass destruction and damage. As Naruto said bye to Tsunade, he made his way off, flying towards his home, arriving there as he exited through the gate and made his way. As he slipped his shoes off as he entered inside, as someone came towards him, the person placed a kiss on his lips. "You're back," she said, as he was none other than the beautiful Samui, as she has grown in the past 2.5 years as well. More in the chest department that seemed to amaze Naruto every time, as they were rather large, but her beauty seemed to just get more and more each time, which also amazed him to no end, as Samui was a special case, something that has never been done in the history of the Elemental Nation, a join ninja from each village. Her headband said Allied Nation, because she was neither Konoha or Kumo ninja right now. She was basically both, as she was the first to do so, as it was something new that the Raikage and Tsunade was starting up, and because of her relationship here, she was the first to take part in it. There will be several more in the upcoming months, but she was the first, and it was working out well. It was bringing the village close. This had took a long time to prepare, as they had talked it over with the daimyos and the dignitaries, as it would be beneficial for both Lightning Daimyo and the Fire Daimyo as he saw it there. So they fall in line with the regime, as several ninjas want to sign up for this program, as there was housing, living arrangements, and not to mention, they could do also missions for the village hidden in a leaf as well. And their stats and strength level will be ranked different here, as many of them were looking towards the challenge and the possibilities. The Raikage made it sound wonderful, so many ninjas want to see how this new development would change things. But some of them were just neutral towards it, and some of them didn't really like it that much. But they didn't really voice their comments really loudly because it wouldn't change anything, as things were going along well. And for them to ruin it, well, they would be the problem. Did nearly drop by, said Naruto. I just got in a few hours ago, maybe 1 or 2, she said. So I'm not sure. She would still be here though, said Naruto. He didn't know why, but she has been blowing him off a lot lately. She had become one of his best friends, but recently he had been unable to keep track of her. He didn't know why. Is something wrong, Samui asks. For some reason I feel like she's blowing me off, said Naruto. Come on, she's one of your best friends. Exactly, said Naruto. So I'm not sure why she's not there anytime I go to visit her. Even when I would need her help on certain missions because for Byakugan, she's not there. Yeah, said Naruto. Although, that did help you to become better friends with Neji. Yeah, that's right, said Naruto. Strangely enough, him and Neji had become better friends, reason being, of all person, Hinata. Hinata had really changed over the past 2.5 years. The girl was no longer shy one bit, as Naruto couldn't hear the last time when he heard her stutter, as it was her stepping towards Neji and challenging him outright. Surprisingly, she had defeated him. That was a shock. Many people did not know if Neji was holding back just because he was around the other Hyugas, and because he was a branch member, it would look bad if he defeated her. But she had bowed her head to him, as Hinata had done something that the elders did not agree with. But she did not care, as most of them thought that she was too soft, but Hayashi speared her from this backlash, as she was bringing change to the Hyugas, and there was no one that could stop her. They were still trying to use the fact that she was still too weak, and Hanabi should be the one to take over. But Hayashi was going to change that, as his daughter was showing that everyone can change. Neji had a change of heart at the girl, as Hayashi himself had spoken to the boy, and told him what happened between him and his father, and him not being asked on a mission with Naruto, caused both of them to talk normally, and they actually became friends. While not close friends as Naruto and Neri, they were still friends. But for some reason she was blowing him off, as Naruto did not know why. But as he made his way, come on, said Samui, I'm hungry. I'm gonna make something. As Naruto followed her to the kitchen, she giggled as he lifted her up by the waist and carried her in his arms. His strength always just seemed to amaze her each time, as she loved it. Time skip. Jiraiya leaped out of the way, as he got to his feet panting a bit, bruise on his face and on his arms. His shoulder, the shirt that was there was burned, like it was scorched by fire. His side was showing bruise mark, like he was hit with electricity. Alright, I think that is enough, said Jiraiya. Standing to the side was a beautiful red-haired woman. Her red hair flushed down into her back. She was wearing a tight black bodysuit with a red coat over it that matched the style of her hair, as it had a zip zad around the waist. She was wearing black pants and boots that came up, fingerless gloves, as her hair flowed down to her back. It was none other than Mito Uzumaki, as she had grown in the past 2.5 years. In all aspects of the form, grown. She's become quite a beautiful young lady. She had a few stub marks as well, but nothing too dangerous on her. But the past 2.5 years has been kind for her, as she had really pushed herself, considering that she was able to harm Jiraiya in this state, and he was a Sannin. Although she hadn't fully taken him down, it showed her growth. But she was exhausted, as she collapsed. She smiled to the heavens though, as Jiraiya walked over to her and gave her a helping hand. Celebrate, he said. We're going back to the village. The time is up already, she said, with a cheeky smile. I know you've been counting the days, said Jiraiya, so don't lie to me. I'll get to see everyone again, she said, as she couldn't wait. Meanwhile, as at the hidden sound, lab underground, laughing could be heard, as it was none other than the mad cackles from Kabuto Yakushi. 2.5 years has been kind to him, as the man had made sure that, when he ever faced Naruto, if he did, he would be ready to face them. And that meant a lot of modification to his body. A lot. And not to mention his own personal army. He had made sure to get several powerful individuals on his side, and under his control, Kimimaro Guren, Suigetsu, Jugo, as he smirk. As he will be the one that is on top once this all is over. But that was not the only group that was moving out. 2 pair of Rinnegan eyes open. It was time. It was time that they start the hunt. The world will know to fear the name, the Akatsuki. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto. At his strongest was sent to another timeline over on Anime King 2. And enjoy that guys. And remember, if you enjoy the videos over on Anime King 2, Anime King 3, and Anime King. Yes, I did have 3 channels that I post every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all the help and support. And yeah, without further ado, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace out.